The first time I saw the planet, it was through a view screen the size of a wall, and even then I felt it staring back at me. They called it Zenith 9, Class 9 Death World, the kind of classification that made seasoned explorers go quiet and young pilots think they could beat the odds. The kind of planet that had eaten 17 expeditions over 43 standard years and hadn't even bothered to burp afterwards. I was 24 years old when I signed up for the 18th expedition. Young, stupid, and convinced I was different from all the dead men and women who'd come before me. My name is Elias Vance. At least that's what the records say. After everything that happened, I'm not sure that name means anything anymore, but we'll get to that. The recruitment center on Mars Colony 3 was a squat building made of recycled shipping containers and bad decisions. The walls were covered in holographic recruitment posters that showed pristine alien landscapes and smiling explorers, none of which had anything to do with reality. I'd been working cargo hauling for 2 years, moving ore between the asteroid belt and the inner planets. It was honest work, boring work, and it paid just enough to keep me in protein paste and cheap whiskey. When I saw the posting for Zenith 9, I laughed. Then I read the pay. Then I stopped laughing. 18 expeditions, I said to the recruitment officer, a tired-looking woman with cybernetic eyes that glowed faintly orange. 17 failed. What makes you think the 18th will be different? She looked at me over her data slate. Her expression hadn't changed since I walked in. Nothing, she said. We don't think it'll be different. We think it'll be the same. That's why we're offering triple standard hazard pay and full death benefits to next of kin. Comforting. Look, kid, she leaned back in her chair. You want the truth. This is a suicide mission. Everyone knows it. The only people who sign up for these things are either desperate, delusional, or both. So which are you? I thought about my empty apartment, my empty bank account, the hollow feeling that had been sitting in my chest since I was old enough to understand that the universe didn't care about me. Both, I said, sign me up. The ship was called the Icarus. I thought that was a bad omen, but nobody asked me. There were 47 of us on board. Scientists, soldiers, pilots, engineers. Every one of them had a story about why they were there. The scientists wanted to unlock the secrets of a Class 9 world. The soldiers wanted glory. The pilots wanted the challenge. The engineers wanted to prove they could keep anything flying. And then there was me. I was classified as support personnel, which was a fancy way of saying, we need warm bodies to carry heavy things and die first. We spent 6 months in transit. 6 months of recycled air, artificial gravity, and the constant hum of the ship's engines. 6 months of watching the stars crawl past at speeds that made my brain hurt. I got to know the crew. Well, I got to know most of them. Some kept to themselves, probably because they'd already accepted they were going to die and didn't want to make friends first. Commander Aris Tanaka was in charge. She was a veteran of 3 deep space expeditions, none of which had ended well. She had a scar running from her left temple to her jaw, and she wore it like a badge of honor. Zenith 9 isn't just dangerous, she told us during our final briefing. It's actively hostile. Every expedition that's gone down there has reported the same thing. The planet doesn't want us there. The environment reacts to us, adapts to us. It's like the whole world is a single organism, and we're an infection it's trying to cure. Then why are we going? Someone asked. Tanaka's jaw tightened. Because we're human, because we don't know when to quit, and because the rewards waiting for us down there could change everything. She didn't say what those rewards were. She didn't have to. Everyone who signed up for a Death World expedition knew the rumors. Alien technology, infinite energy sources, the secrets of the universe itself waiting to be discovered. Or maybe just more dead bodies to add to the count. We entered orbit around Zenith 9 on a Thursday. The planet was beautiful. That was the first thing I noticed. Beautiful in the way a predator is beautiful, all sleek lines and deadly grace. It had rings, 3 of them, made of crystalline material that caught the light from the system's star and scattered it into rainbows. The surface was a patchwork of colors, deep blues, vibrant greens, angry reds, and something that looked almost like gold. Atmosphere is breathable, the sensor officer announced. Readings show nitrogen-oxygen mix, similar to Earth. Gravity is 0.98 G. Temperature ranges are within human tolerance limits. Sounds perfect, someone muttered. That was the thing about death worlds. They always looked perfect from orbit. It was only when you got close that you realized the perfection was a mask. The landing party consisted of 15 people. Commander Tanaka, 6 scientists, 4 soldiers, 2 engineers, the pilot, and me. I was the last one on the shuttle. I don't know why I hesitated. Maybe some part of me knew what was coming. Maybe I just wanted one more second of relative safety before I threw myself into the unknown. The shuttle ride down took 20 minutes. 20 minutes of turbulence, rattling bulkheads, and the sound of soldiers checking their weapons for the 100th time. We're entering the upper atmosphere, the pilot announced. Readings are weird. Weird how? Tanaka asked. Temperature gradients don't make sense. Atmospheric pressure is fluctuating, and there's something in the air, a particle trace I can't identify. Keep going. Yes, ma'am. We broke through the clouds and saw the surface for the first time. It was even more beautiful up close, towering crystalline formations that looked like they'd been carved by an artist, bioluminescent plants that pulsed with gentle light, waterfalls that flowed in reverse, defying gravity in ways that made my head hurt. Unbelievable, one of the scientists breathed. The energy readings are off the charts. This place is, it's alive. That's when the first thing went wrong. We hit the ground hard, harder than we should have. The shuttle's landing gear crumpled on impact, and we slammed into the surface with enough force to knock everyone off their feet. Report, Tanaka shouted. Something pulled us down, the pilot said, his voice shaking. It was like the gravity suddenly increased, then it let go. Everyone stay calm, weapons check, scientists start your equipment, I want to know. She didn't finish the sentence. The ground opened up beneath us. Not a crack, not a fissure. The ground simply stopped being solid, and we fell through it like we were falling through water. The shuttle disappeared above us, swallowed by the earth that had just turned into liquid. We fell for what felt like hours but was probably only seconds. Then we landed, hard, on a surface that was solid again. I opened my eyes. I was in a cave. No, not a cave. A chamber. The walls were made of the same crystalline material I'd seen from above, and they glowed with a soft, pulsing light. What the hell was that? Someone screamed. Tanaka was already on her feet, her weapon drawn. Everyone sound off. Let me know you're alive. One by one we called out our names. 14 voices, one missing. The pilot. He's gone, one of the soldiers said. He was right next to me and then he just vanished. Stay calm, Tanaka said. We need to. The ground trembled. A low, rumbling sound echoed through the chamber, and then the walls began to move. No, not the walls, the crystals. They were growing, expanding, pushing toward us with deliberate, methodical purpose. Move, Tanaka shouted. We ran. I don't remember the first few minutes of the chase. I remember running and screaming, and the sound of crystalline formations exploding behind us. I remember one of the soldiers stopping to fire at the advancing walls and being swallowed by them in seconds. I remember the scientists crying out for their equipment, their data, their precious research that meant nothing now. I remember being terrified, not the kind of fear that makes you freeze, the kind that makes you run until your lungs burn and your legs won't carry you anymore. We found another chamber. This one was different. It had furniture, tables and chairs made of the same crystalline material, arranged like they were waiting for guests. Everyone stop, Tanaka said. Regroup. We counted heads, 8 of us left. Commander Tanaka, 3 scientists, 1 soldier, 2 engineers, and me. Where are the others? One of the engineers whispered. Dead, the soldier said flatly. They're all dead. We don't know that, Tanaka said. We need to stay focused. We need to find a way back to the surface. We need to. Commander, one of the scientists, a woman named Dr. Varma, was pointing at the furniture. Look. The furniture was glowing, brighter than the walls, and it was moving, creeping toward us inch by inch. Don't touch anything, Tanaka warned. Everyone stay. She never finished the sentence. The chair nearest her exploded into 1,000 crystalline shards. They moved like a swarm of bees, a cloud of razor-sharp edges that descended on her with terrifying speed. I heard her scream. I heard the wet, tearing sound of crystals slicing through flesh. I heard the engineer next to me start praying in a language I didn't recognize. And then I ran again. I don't know how long I ran. Time stopped meaning anything in that place. The chambers shifted and changed, rearranging themselves like some cosmic puzzle box. I saw things I can't explain. Rooms filled with floating geometric shapes. Hallways that spiraled in directions that shouldn't exist. Doorways that led to other doorways, endless reflections of nothing. I found myself alone. The others were gone, lost in the maze, dead or worse. I didn't know which. I stopped running. I couldn't run anymore. My legs gave out, and I slumped against a wall that was mercifully solid and non-crystalline. I was going to die here. I knew that with absolute certainty. The planet had killed 17 expeditions before us, and it was about to add another body to the count. I closed my eyes and waited for the end. That's when I saw it. No, not saw, felt. A presence, something immense and ancient pressing against the edges of my consciousness. It wasn't hostile, it wasn't friendly either. It was simply curious. You are different, it said. I opened my eyes. The chamber I was in had changed again. It was larger now, and the walls were covered in complex patterns that seemed to shift and move as I watched. Who's there? I asked. I am Zenith. The words formed in my mind, not as sound but as pure meaning. I understood them instantly, the same way I understood that fire was hot or that falling would hurt. You're the planet, I said. You're the whole planet. I am all that lives here. I am the crystals. I am the air. I am the ground beneath your feet. I am the mind that shapes this world. Why did you kill everyone? They were loud, Zenith said. They were chaos. They disrupted the pattern. What pattern? The walls around me shimmered, and suddenly I could see the planet. Not from above, but from inside. I could see every living thing, every crystal formation, every drop of water. I could see the connections between them, the vast network of energy that bound everything together. This pattern, the harmony of existence, your kind disrupts it. Your kind creates discord. I don't understand. Of course you don't. You are young. Your species is young. You see the universe as a collection of things to be taken, not as a tapestry to be honored. Zenith showed me the other expeditions, all 17 of them. I watched them land, explore, and die. I watched the planet respond to their presence with the same hostility it had shown us. I watched the crystals grow and the ground open and the air become poison. They brought violence, Zenith said. They brought greed. They brought the belief that they could own what they did not understand. And what did I bring? The presence paused. For the first time, I felt something like confusion. You brought nothing. You are empty. You have no ambition, no desire to conquer. You came because you had nowhere else to go, nothing else to be. You came to die. That's not true, I said. I came because I wanted to. I don't know, find something that mattered. Mattered? Yeah, I was tired. Tired of being nobody, tired of doing nothing. I wanted to matter, even if it was just for a moment. I felt the presence turn inward, contemplating something I couldn't see. The patterns on the walls began to shift and change, forming new shapes, new arrangements. No one has ever said that to me before. No one has ever come here seeking purpose rather than possession. Is that good or bad? I don't know yet. The walls opened up, revealing a passage that hadn't been there before. It led upward toward the surface. Come, Zenith said, let me show you something. I followed the passage. I'm not sure why. Maybe I was just too tired to resist. Maybe I was curious. Maybe some part of me knew that this was the only way out, the only chance to survive. The passage wound upward for what felt like miles. The walls gradually changed from crystalline to organic, then back again. I saw things I couldn't identify, creatures made of pure light, plants that sang, stones that whispered. And all the while I felt Zenith watching me, guiding me, testing me. I emerged into the daylight on the other side of the planet, from where we'd landed. That was the first surprise. The passage had taken me through the entire planet, through the core itself. I'd walked through the heart of a death world and come out the other side. The second surprise was what I saw when I got there. It was a structure, a building, made of the same crystalline material as everything else but shaped with deliberate purpose. Towers, spires, domes, a city, an entire city built by something that wasn't human. This is where you made the pattern, I said. This is your home. No, Zenith said. This is where I keep the ones who came before. I walked through the city. It was beautiful, more beautiful than anything I'd ever seen. The crystals sang as I passed, a harmony of light and sound that made me want to cry. And in the center of the city, I found them. The explorers. All of them, every person who'd ever come to Zenith 9 and died here. They weren't dead. Not exactly. They were frozen, suspended in crystal like insects in amber. Their eyes were open. They were breathing. They were alive, but not alive. I preserved them, Zenith said. I couldn't let them go. They were so loud, so disruptive, so beautiful in their own way. Beautiful, they wanted to take everything from you. They wanted to destroy you. Yes, and they were so passionate about it, so certain of their rightness. Your species has a gift for certainty. It's one of your most admirable and dangerous traits. I walked among the frozen explorers. I saw their faces, frozen in moments of terror and wonder. I saw Commander Tanaka, her eyes wide with surprise, her hand still reaching for a weapon that would never fire. You killed them, I said. I stopped them. There's a difference. Death is final. This is waiting. For what? For you. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I sat in the center of the city, surrounded by thousands of frozen explorers, and tried to understand what had happened to me. Zenith spoke to me throughout the night. It told me about itself, about its origins, about the vast cosmic intelligence that had shaped this world and many others like it. It told me about the pattern, the harmony of existence that I had somehow stumbled into without understanding. You are the first who came without wanting to take, Zenith said. The first who came wanting to give. What could I possibly give you? Yourself, your species, the gift of understanding. I don't understand. You will in time. I want to show you what I am, what I could be, what your species could become if only you learned to listen. And then Zenith showed me. It's hard to describe what I saw, hard to put into words that could ever do it justice. I saw the universe, not just our galaxy but everything, all of it, the vast cosmic tapestry that Zenith was part of and that we were part of too, whether we knew it or not. I saw other planets like Zenith 9, other death worlds, each one home to a consciousness as ancient and powerful as the one I was speaking with. I saw them interacting, communicating, weaving a pattern that stretched across the entire universe. I saw what happened when the pattern was disrupted. Chaos, destruction, the end of everything. And I saw what could happen if the pattern was strengthened. Order, beauty, a universe that sang with the joy of existence. Your species is disrupting the pattern, Zenith said. Every world you touch, you change. Every system you enter, you alter. You are a force of chaos. We don't mean to be. I know, that's what makes you different. Other species are disruptive because they are violent. Your species is disruptive because you don't know any better. Your children playing with forces you don't understand. Is that a compliment? It's an observation. Zenith showed me what happened to the other species who had come to Zenith 9. Not just the explorers, but the ones who had come before. The ones who had been here for thousands, millions, billions of years. The ones who had tried to take what wasn't theirs and had been stopped. You are different, Zenith said again. You came to give. You came to find meaning. You came empty and that made you full. What does that mean? It means you are the one I've been waiting for. The next morning, I woke up to find the city had changed. It was smaller, more intimate. The towers and spires were gone, replaced by something that looked almost like a village, comfortable, inviting. And there were people walking around. Real people, living people. The frozen explorers had been thawed, and they were moving through the village with expressions of wonder on their faces. You set them free, I said. I set them free. Your influence has shown me that I was wrong to preserve them. They were loud, yes. Disruptive, yes. But they were alive. They had purpose. I had no right to take that from them. Where are they going? Home, wherever that may be. I have shown them the path back to the surface, and a ship has been provided for their return. They will tell others what they have seen. They will spread the word. And me. You are different. You have already changed. You have seen what I am, and you have chosen to understand rather than to take. That makes you unique among your species. What do you want me to do? Live, learn, return. I have given you a gift, Elias Vance. The gift of understanding. Use it well. I woke up. It took me 3 days to walk back to the shuttle. 3 days through the transformed landscape of Zenith 9. The planet was different now. The hostility was gone, replaced by a gentle curiosity that felt almost like welcome. The crystals still grew, but they didn't attack. The ground still opened, but only to show me secrets I'd never known existed. The air was still strange, but it was strange in a way that felt like home. I found the shuttle where we'd left it. It was damaged but repairable. The pilot was there too, alive and unharmed, sitting on the ground with a dazed expression on his face. She let me go, he said when he saw me. The planet, it let me go. The planet is a she. I don't know, it just felt like a she. She spoke to me, showed me things. The city and the others, the ones who came before. Did she hurt you? No, she understood. She understood that I was just scared. I helped him to his feet. We worked together to repair the shuttle, and when it was ready, we sent a message to the Icarus. I expected them to be surprised. I expected them to be angry or suspicious or just plain confused. What I didn't expect was the silence. They're not responding, the pilot said. Keep trying. I have been for 3 hours. There's nothing. No signal, no response. It's like. Like what? Like they're not there. We flew back to the ship. Or tried to. The shuttle wouldn't achieve orbit. Something was wrong with the thrusters, something that couldn't be fixed with the limited tools we had. We were stranded. Okay, I said. Okay, we'll figure this out. Figure what out? We're stuck here. We're going to die here. No, we're not, Zenith promised. Zenith. The planet, she's got a name and she's not going to hurt us. How do you know? I didn't have an answer to that, but I knew it was true. I could feel it, the same way I felt the presence of Zenith watching me, guiding me, protecting me. We spent the next week exploring the planet. The pilot found his courage again, and together we walked through the transformed landscape, discovering wonders that no human had ever seen. We found structures that had been built by ancient civilizations, abandoned and reclaimed by the planet. We found artifacts that defied explanation, devices that had no visible purpose or power source. We found gardens filled with plants that sang and trees that danced and flowers that wept tears of crystal. And every night I felt Zenith's presence, watching me with that gentle curiosity. "You are learning," she said. "You are understanding." "I'm trying." Trying is enough. Trying is everything. It took us a month to find a way off the planet. A buried ship, ancient and alien, that responded to my presence as if it recognized me. "This is impossible," the pilot said. "This ship is millions of years old. There's no way it could still function." "It's functioning," I said. How is it functioning?" "Because I asked it to." The ship rose from the ground, shedding centuries of dust and debris. It was beautiful, all flowing curves and organic lines, more like a living creature than a machine. "This is my gift to you," Zenith said. "Take it, use it, return to your people and tell them what you have seen." "What should I tell them?" "Tell them the truth. Tell them that the universe is alive and that they must learn to listen. Tell them that the pattern exists and that they must learn to respect it. Tell them that Zenith 9 is not a place to be conquered, but a place to be understood. And if they don't listen, then the pattern will be disrupted and everything will end. But I have faith in you, Elias Vance. I have faith that you will find a way." We flew back to Earth. The Icarus was gone, but the alien ship got us home. It took months and we ran out of food and we nearly died, but we made it. The pilot hugged me when we landed. He was crying. "We did it," he said. "We actually did it." "No," I said. "We haven't done anything yet. The real work is just beginning." It's been 5 years since I returned to Earth. 5 years of talking, of explaining, of trying to make people understand what I'd seen. Some believed me, most didn't, but slowly, gradually, the message started to spread. Zenith 9 became a place of pilgrimage. Scientists went there to study, and they came back transformed. Explorers went there to conquer, and they came back humbled. Soldiers went there to fight, and they came back with their weapons lowered. The planet had killed 17 expeditions, and then it had let me survive. I had tamed it, not through violence but through understanding. "You did not tame me," Zenith told me once. "I am not an animal to be subdued. You simply listened, and that made all the difference." I still visit her sometimes. The alien ship can make the journey in weeks now, and I go back to the transformed landscape of Zenith 9 to sit in the city and watch the crystals sing. I've become something of a legend among the explorers who follow in my footsteps. The first human to survive a Class-9 death world. The first to make contact with an alien intelligence. The first to understand that we're not alone and that we never were. But I don't feel like a legend. I feel like the same scared kid who signed up for a suicide mission because he didn't know what else to do with his life. I just got lucky. I found something that I wasn't looking for, and somehow I made it mine. "You were never looking for anything," Zenith says. "That's why you found it." I'm old now, older than I should be. The years on Zenith 9 changed me in ways that I'm still discovering. Sometimes I feel like the crystals are growing inside me, spreading through my veins like light. "They are," Zenith says. "You carry the pattern with you now. You are part of it and it is part of you." Is that why I can't die? You can die. Everyone can die. But death is just a change, Elias, just a transformation. The pattern continues and so will you, in one form or another. I sit in the village, watching the explorers who have come to learn. They're different from the ones who came before. Softer, more curious. They don't carry weapons and they don't talk about conquest. "I don't want to own this place," one of them told me yesterday. "I just want to understand it. I want to understand myself." "You will," I said. "That's the whole point." Sometimes I wonder about the other death worlds. The other planets like Zenith 9. each one home to a consciousness that's waiting for someone to listen. They're waiting, Zenith says. They're all waiting. The universe is full of beings who have something to say if only someone would stop shouting long enough to hear them. What happens when someone finally does? The pattern grows. The universe becomes richer, more complex, more beautiful, and the ones who listen become part of something greater than themselves. Is that what happened to me? Yes, you are part of something greater now. You are part of the pattern. You are part of the universe. You are part of me. I look up at the sky, and I see the stars twinkling in the endless darkness. And for the first time in my life, I'm not afraid of them. I spent so long looking for meaning, looking for purpose, looking for something that would tell me I mattered. And I found it, not in some grand cosmic revelation, but in a simple act of listening. The Class-9 planet had killed every explorer who'd come before me, and then one human survived and tamed it. But I didn't tame it, I just learned to hear. That's all any of us can do. Listen, understand, grow. The universe is whispering, if only we'd stop to hear. It was Dr. Chen who found me first. 3 months after I returned to Earth, sitting alone in a bar in the Mars colony, drinking cheap whiskey and trying to forget the singing of the crystals. "You're Elias Vance," she said. It wasn't a question. She knew who I was. She'd been tracking me since the moment my ship appeared on the scanners, leaving a trail of impossible energy readings across the solar system. "Who's asking?" "My name is Dr. Mei Chen. I'm a xenobiologist with the Interstellar Exploration Initiative." "Never heard of it." "Most people haven't. We're very discreet." She sat down across from me. She was younger than I'd expected, maybe 30, with sharp eyes and a calm smile that didn't quite reach them. "I've been studying Zenith 9 for years," she said, "reading the expedition reports, watching the footage, trying to understand what happened down there." "Nothing happened down there. We landed, we got chased, we got out." 17 expeditions failed, Mr. Vance, but you made it back. Not just you, but your pilot too. 2 survivors, that's unprecedented. Call it luck. Call it something else. She leaned forward. Her eyes were very bright, very focused. "I've reviewed the telemetry from your ship, the alien one. It's not like anything we've ever seen. The energy signature, the propulsion system, the materials it's made of. It's impossible, and yet it exists. I don't know how it works, it just works." "You're lying." I looked at her. She was right. I was lying, but I didn't have a choice. How could I explain any of this? How could I tell her about the crystals and the singing and the presence that had wrapped itself around my soul? "I can't help you," I said. "Can't or won't?" "Both." She leaned back in her chair. "I could make you talk. The initiative has methods. We have people who can." "You don't have anyone who can do what she did." I closed my mouth. I'd said too much already. "The planet," Dr. Chen said slowly. "You're talking about the planet." "I'm talking about nothing. Leave me alone." "You can't just walk away from this, Mr. Vance. You've been to a place that no one else has survived. You've brought back technology that defies everything we know about the universe. You've changed. I can see it in your eyes. You're not the same person who left." "No," I said, "I'm not." "Then tell me what you are. Tell me what happened." I looked at my whiskey. The amber liquid swirled in the glass, and for a moment I thought I saw the crystals dancing in it. "Get us both a drink," I said. "This is going to take a while." I told her everything. The landing, the chase, the city, the frozen explorers, the presence that called itself Zenith, the pattern and what it meant. I left nothing out. I didn't see the point. She'd already seen too much, and I was tired of carrying the secret alone. When I finished, she was silent for a long time. "You're serious," she said finally. "You're not lying." "Why would I lie about this?" "I don't know, for attention, for money, to become famous." You think I want any of that? I was a nobody before I went to that planet, a cargo hauler with no future and no purpose. I didn't go there to become famous. I went there to die. Then why didn't you? I thought about the question for a long time. I'd asked myself the same thing 1,000 times since I'd come back, and I'd never found a satisfying answer. I don't know, I said. Maybe because she didn't want me to. Maybe because she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Maybe because the universe isn't as random as we think it is. Dr. Chen nodded slowly. She was studying me with those sharp eyes, trying to decide what to make of me. Can you take me there? She asked. Take you where? To Zenith 9, to the city, to meet this intelligence you've been talking about. Why would you want that? Because understanding the universe isn't enough. I want to experience it. I want to hear what she has to say. You won't survive. Maybe not, but I have to try. We all have to try. That's what it means to be human. I looked at her for a long time. She was right. That was exactly what it meant to be human. And that was exactly why we kept getting ourselves killed on death worlds. Fine, I said, but it's your funeral. We left 6 months later. The initiative gave us everything we needed. A ship, supplies, a crew of scientists and engineers who'd been vetted for psychological stability and intellectual curiosity. Dr. Chen was in charge, but they'd put me in command of the expedition. I was the only one who'd been there before. I was the only one who knew how to talk to her. The flight took 3 months. 3 months of training, preparation, and endless briefings. 3 months of pretending I knew what I was doing, when the truth was that I was just as scared as everyone else. Are you nervous? Dr. Chen asked me on the night before we entered orbit around Zenith 9. Terrified, I admitted. The last time I was here, I barely survived, and now I'm bringing 30 people into the same situation. You survived because you listened. You didn't try to fight. I didn't have a choice. Fighting didn't work. And that's why you're the right person to lead this. You understand what she wants, what she needs. I don't understand anything, I said. I just did what she said, that's all. Then that's what you'll do this time. Listen, follow, trust. And if it doesn't work, if she decides we're too loud, too disruptive. Dr. Chen was silent for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was very quiet. Then we'll find out what happens when the pattern is disrupted. We landed on the same spot where my original expedition had crashed. The ground was solid now, the crystals dormant. The shuttle touched down without incident, and we stepped out into a world that had changed beyond recognition. The atmosphere is breathable, one of the scientists announced. Temperature is comfortable, no signs of hostile activity. They're listening, I said. They're waiting. Who is? Everyone, everything. This whole planet is watching us. I walked forward, away from the shuttle, toward the place where I'd first encountered Zenith. The ground opened up in front of me, revealing a passage that led down into the heart of the planet. She wants to see you, I said. Me? Dr. Chen asked. No, all of us. She wants to meet everyone. We walked through the passages for hours. The scientists took readings. The engineers marveled at the technology built into the walls. The soldiers kept their hands on their weapons, but they didn't fire. I led them through the network of tunnels and chambers, past the frozen explorers, past the singing crystals, past everything I'd seen on my first visit. And finally, we reached the city. It was waiting for us. Not the village I'd seen after my transformation, but the full city, with all its towers and spires and impossible geometries. She's showing off, I said. She doesn't do this for everyone. She's showing us what she is, Dr. Chen said. What she can be. She's making an argument. An argument for what? For coexistence, for understanding, for the pattern. We walked into the city, and the crystals sang around us. They sang in ways I'd never heard before, harmonies and melodies that made no sense but somehow spoke to something deep inside me. "You have returned," Zenith said, "and you have brought others." "She wanted to come," I said. "I told her it was dangerous, but she wouldn't listen." "You told her the truth, but she chose to come anyway. That is your species' greatest strength and greatest weakness. You cannot be warned away from a thing you want to understand. She wants to understand you. She wants to understand the pattern." "Then show her, show them all. The pattern is not something to be understood in words. It must be experienced." The next few days were strange. The scientists explored the city, taking readings and samples, while the engineers tried to understand the technology built into the walls. The soldiers stayed on alert, but there was nothing to fight. I spent my time in the central chamber, talking to Zenith. She told me about the other planets, the other intelligences, the vast network of consciousness that spanned the universe. She told me about the pattern and how it could be strengthened or destroyed. "Your species is at a turning point," she said. "You are about to expand beyond your solar system, to explore the stars. What you do next will determine everything." Everything. Everything. The pattern is fragile. One mistake, one bad decision, could unravel it, but one good decision could strengthen it beyond measure. What should we do? Listen, learn, grow. The answers are not in the stars, Elias. The answers are within you, within all of you. You just have to be willing to find them. I left the chamber and went to find Dr. Chen. She was sitting in the central plaza, looking at the crystals with an expression of wonder on her face. "It's beautiful," she said. "More beautiful than anything I've ever seen." "It's dangerous." Everything beautiful is dangerous. That's what makes it beautiful. I sat down next to her. "I've been talking to Zenith. She says we're at a turning point. We have to make a choice." "What choice?" "The choice to listen. The choice to understand. The choice to become part of the pattern instead of disrupting it." "What happens if we make the wrong choice?" "Everything ends." Dr. Chen was silent for a long time. Then she looked at me, and there was a fire in her eyes that I hadn't seen before. "Then we make the right choice," she said. "We learn, we grow, we become part of something greater than ourselves." "How do you know we can?" "Because you already did. You survived, you listened, and you understood. If you can do it, anyone can." I thought about that for a long time. She was wrong, of course. Not everyone could do what I'd done. Not everyone was empty enough, ready enough, desperate enough to listen. But maybe that was okay. Maybe we only needed a few people to understand. A few people to start the process, to spread the word, to build the bridges between species. "One voice can change everything," Zenith said. "One voice, singing the right song, can transform the universe." "Then I'll keep singing," I said. "As long as I can, as loud as I can. That's all I ask." We stayed on Zenith 9 for 3 months. The scientists made incredible discoveries. The engineers reverse-engineered technology that changed everything we knew about physics. The soldiers trained alongside the planet's defenses, learning to work with the crystals instead of against them. And I taught. I taught everyone who would listen about the pattern, about the importance of listening, about the need to understand before we tried to conquer. I wasn't a natural teacher. My words were clumsy, my explanations incomplete, but somehow people understood. They felt what I was trying to say, even if they couldn't put it into words. "It's like she's speaking through you," Dr. Chen said one day. "Like you're a messenger for something greater than yourself." "Maybe I am," I said. "Maybe that's what I've always been, a messenger, a voice for the ones who can't speak. Or maybe you've always been you, and she just helped you find your voice." I didn't have an answer to that. When we left, the city was alive with activity. The scientists were planning to stay, to build a permanent research station on the planet. The engineers were setting up an installation to study the alien technology. The soldiers were forming a defensive force to protect the settlement. and I was going home. Why? Dr. Chen asked. You could stay here, you could be part of this. I've done what I came to do, I said. I've brought you here, I've shown you what she wants, the rest is up to you. But she needs you, we all need you. She doesn't need me, she needs understanding, she needs people who are willing to listen, and she has you now, she has all of you. I walked to the shuttle. I was tired, more tired than I'd ever been, but I was also at peace. I'd finally found what I'd been looking for. Purpose, meaning, a reason to keep going. You'll be back, Zenith said. You always come back. Maybe, I said, but not yet. I have other things to do first. Other things? Things I never had the courage to do before. Things I've been running from my whole life. Like what? I smiled, like living. I spent the next decade traveling. Not on a ship, not in space. On Earth. Walking through the cities and towns and villages, talking to anyone who would listen. I told them about Zenith 9. I told them about the pattern. I told them about the importance of understanding, of listening, of becoming part of something greater than themselves. Some people thought I was crazy, some thought I was lying, but some listened, and those who listened understood. I became a symbol, a living proof that there was more to the universe than we'd ever imagined. I spoke at universities and conferences. I wrote books and made recordings. I did everything I could to spread the word. But I never went back. Not because I didn't want to. I wanted to go back every day. I dreamed about the crystals, the singing, the presence that had wrapped itself around my soul. I yearned for Zenith in ways I couldn't explain, ways that made me doubt my own sanity. But I knew I couldn't go back. Not yet. I had too much to do here, too many people who needed to hear what I had to say. You're running again, Zenith said. You're always running. Maybe, I said, but I'm running toward something now, not away. Toward what? Toward the future. Toward the dream of a universe that's truly united. Toward the hope that we can be part of something greater than ourselves. That's a beautiful dream, Zenith said, but it's just a dream. The reality is much harder. I know, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. No, Zenith said, it doesn't mean we shouldn't try. The last time I saw Dr. Chen, she was old and gray, her face lined with years of hard work and dedication. She'd built the research station on Zenith 9 into something magnificent, a testament to what human ingenuity could achieve when it worked in harmony with the universe. It's working, she said. The pattern is strengthening. We're making contact with other species, other intelligences, other worlds. Zenith was right. We just needed to listen. And now we're building something new, something that's never been attempted before, a network of understanding that spans the entire galaxy. That's incredible. It's everything we dreamed of, everything we hoped for, and it started with you, Elias. It started with a cargo hauler who didn't know how to give up. I didn't do anything, I just listened. That's exactly what you did. You listened when everyone else was shouting. You heard when everyone else was deaf, and that changed everything. I looked out the window at the stars. They seemed brighter now, more alive. I could almost feel them singing. Where are you going now? Dr. Chen asked. I don't know. Wherever I'm needed, I suppose. You're always needed. You're the voice of the pattern, the one who started it all. I didn't start anything. I just carried a message. And that's what makes you special. You carried the message and you never stopped carrying it, even when it was hard, even when no one was listening. That's what it means to be human, I said. To keep going even when no one's watching. I left Dr. Chen at the research station and walked into the city. The crystals sang around me, their harmonies weaving together into a melody that felt like home. The city was alive with activity, filled with scientists and explorers and pilgrims who'd come from across the galaxy to experience what I'd experienced. And at the heart of it all, Zenith was waiting. You came back, she said. Of course I came back. I always come back. I know I was just waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for you to be ready. Waiting for you to understand what you are. I know what I am. I'm just a man. A man who was in the right place at the right time and who happened to listen. No, Zenith said, you're much more than that. You're the beginning of something new. You're the first note in a song that will never end. What song? The song of the universe, the song of understanding, the song of hope. I sat down in the center of the city, surrounded by the crystals and the light and the presence of something greater than myself. I closed my eyes and I listened. And for the first time in my life, I understood. They tell stories about me now. They tell stories about the man who went to a Class-9 death world and came back alive. The man who tamed a planet with nothing but his ears and his heart. The man who started a revolution, not with violence, but with understanding. I never wanted to be a legend. I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to matter, even for a moment. But I guess that's what legends are. People who just wanted to matter and who somehow made it happen. I still go to Zenith 9 sometimes. The research station is huge now, a city in its own right. And the Crystal City is even bigger, stretching across the surface of the planet like a living thing. Zenith still talks to me. She's always there, a presence in the back of my mind, guiding me, watching me, waiting for me. You're still running, she says. You'll always be running. Yeah, I say, probably. Is that a bad thing? No, it's a good thing. It means I'm not done yet. It means there's still more to do. There's always more to do. The universe is infinite and the pattern is endless. We'll never be done. Then we'll never stop running. No, Zenith says, we'll never stop. I look up at the stars. They twinkle in the darkness, and for a moment I imagine they're singing. Maybe they are. Maybe all the stars are singing, all the planets, all the beings in all the universes. Maybe the whole cosmos is one giant song and we're just learning to hear it. The Class-9 planet killed every explorer who came before me, and then one human survived and tamed it. But I didn't tame it, I just learned to listen, and that made all the difference. The universe is singing. It's been singing all along. We just have to stop shouting long enough to hear it. I'm an old man now. The years have taken their toll and I don't have much time left, but that's okay. I've done what I came to do. I've carried the message as far as I could carry it. Now it's up to you. Listen, understand, grow. The pattern is waiting. I wrote this story because I wanted to remember. I wanted to remember the fear and the wonder and the impossible beauty of a place that changed everything I thought I knew about the universe. I wanted to remember the woman who was the planet, the presence that was always watching, the voice that taught me how to hear. I wanted to remember Elias Vance, the man who went to a death world and came back alive, the man who tamed a planet with nothing but his ears and his heart, the man who started a revolution, not with violence but with understanding. But mostly, I wanted to remember what it felt like to be empty, to have nothing and want nothing and find meaning in the quiet space between. Because that's where she found me, that's where she taught me, that's where I learned to listen. And I've been listening ever since.